Yo, what's going on, fam? It's your boy Adobo. I'm back with another vlog. I want to start by saying I know I promised daily vlogs, and I did have some vlogs for you guys. The only problem is I lost my SD card to my DSLR. I don't know how, somewhere between the garage and going upstairs, I lost it. I was headed up to go edit it, and I lost it, and I lost all the track footage of me vlogging at the track this past this past Saturday. So, you know, I apologize for not doing what I said I was gonna do. One thing I promised myself when I first started this channel was I'm not gonna put out craps. This video is about how to prepare for a track day. Somebody commented on, I think it was the R1 owners page on Facebook, that they had never been to the track and they wanted to learn. And I told them, I said, hey, don't worry, man, I'll throw out a how to prep for a track day video for you. So this is what I'm doing right now. And I'm just gonna go over the basics of how a track day works, and what to bring, what to expect, and overall just the general stuff. I mean, you can go into the extra shit like, you know, bringing tire warmers for your tires, a generator and all that stuff, but this is just gonna be very basic to get you started doing track days, because lately there's been like a lot of accidents in my area. I live in the Pacific Northwest, as you guys know. It was a motorcycle and car related accident, and it's just one of those things when, you know, you're gonna go out there and ride, there's a possibility that you get in an accident and sometimes even worse. I definitely encourage you guys to hit up the track if you can. Some people think it's expensive. Others think, you know, it's worth saving your money for rather than street riding. Other people are like, well, I still want to street ride and hit the track. For me, the cost of a track day makes up for the cost of not riding on the streets every day. Because when you ride on the streets, you know, you got gas you're paying for. You know, sometimes, you know, people like to eat. Sometimes get drinks, and all that kind of adds up. And if you save that money for you know, once a month track day, I think one track day a month, I think it's worth the money. And track days out here aren't year round, so you're not, you know, spending that money every month. You can actually save money for the track during the off season. So let's start with the basics. First, you gotta find a track day organization. Up here, I like OPRT. There's a bunch of them, but OPRT is the one I like to go to. They're really cool people. But most organizations are pretty chill. Some are really nitpicky about their rules, but most of them in general, they just want to get you out there and riding safer. All right, next I'm going to talk about the gear you need. Definitely need a full suit. Doesn't have to be leather for some organizations. It can be Kevlar, as long as it zips together. This one I have, the Clover. This is the one I crashed in. It is a two-piece. It's the one you guys see me wear a lot in my videos. It's a two-piece as long as it zips together. This one's a one-piece. This is just a jacket, and if you can find pants that will zip to it, has zippers, that'll work too. You need gloves. You need gloves. I wear full gauntlet gloves. These are the same ones I crashed in. They seemed okay. I used them again this last weekend. I'm actually gonna give these away to Marlon the Magician because he said his gloves are garbage. I've seen people use, you know, not full gauntlet gloves, which is fine too. Need boots. These are mine. Alpine Stars SMX Plus. They're a pretty good boot. Super light, perforated for the heat. I don't know. I can't tell, man. It's my feet sweat. So I've seen people wear, you know, half-size boots. This is a full-size boot. So obviously a helmet. I found my helmet. So this is my helmet. One of them I like to use. It is Snell and DOT approved. Now I'm not sure if some track organizations require Snell or DOT or both. You'd have to check with what organization you're doing it with. For me, the track days that I've gone to up here, they never checked our gear. So, you know, it's kind of up in the air. So now I want to talk about what you should do to your bike before the track day, before you actually get there. If you have headlights, absolutely tape them up. That's the one of the basic ones. Tail lights, tape them up. You can remove the mirrors. If not, tape them up. Me, I take them off. It's 2 bolts. You can freaking take them off. So the next thing I like to do is bleed my brakes. I absolutely recommend that you bleed your brakes because I get a lot of brake fade when I'm out there. I brake really hard. This bike for some reason gets a ton of brake fade. I've tried bleeding it before the track. I'm not sure if that's just how this system works. You really have to mash the front brake. I'm not sure. But for me, absolutely, I bleed the brakes before every track day. Sometimes even at the track day. So oil, definitely do an oil change before if you can. If you haven't changed your oil in a long time. If you just kind of recently changed your oil and it's within 5 or 1,000 miles, it's fine. It's not a big deal. They might ask you, hey, have you changed your oil recently? The reason they ask that is they just want to make sure they don't get any oil spills from you not tightening your oil filter correctly, your oil pan bolt. And be honest, just be like, because they'll just look at it. If you just change oil, just tell them, I just changed it. They might ask, like, have you safety wired it? You say you probably haven't if you're new to track days. For me, yeah, I definitely safety wire the oil filter and the drain bolt. So taping the wheel weights, some organizations will require it. Every track day organization that I've been to has required it, so just throw some duct tape on there. When I went to the track, it was pink. That's what they had, so kind of matches my grip, so I don't really care. So your license plate, for me, I take it off. I've never seen anybody run with license plates, so definitely just take that bitch off. So some other things I like to look for is like loose bolts. My rear sets, I like to make sure that all the bolts have Loctite on them. Check the chain, check for chain slack. Definitely check the rear pin. Check your kickstand and make sure it's not loose. Marlon the Magician's kickstand's super loose, that's why it leans so much. They made him tighten it. Last thing about the bike I want to talk about is just make sure there's no loose fairings. I know some of you guys are riding with super loose fairings. They don't like that because there's potential for it to just fling off and hit other riders in the face. So definitely check to make sure you don't have any loose fairings. If you do, secure it with some safety wire or zip ties, whatever you can to just make sure it's nice and taut, all right? So I want to move away from the general stuff that you might want to do to your bike before a track day. I have 2 recommendations. Number 1 is definitely get yourself some tank pads. I would say either Stomp Grip or Tech Specs. Some people make their own, who knows, but yeah, I like those 2 brands. Second thing I would recommend is getting some crash protection. I have frame sliders from Woodcraft, and I have a set of case covers, and I have rear sets. These I don't really think it's necessary. Aftermarket rear sets are pretty expensive for a new track day rider, but for me, I really wanted that extra crash protection, so aftermarket rear sets really take a beating, so that's why I got them. So what to expect at the track when you get there. There's gonna be times for inspections and then times for rider meetings. So you definitely want to try to get there early. You could set up your pit, set up your tent, set up your bike, check your tire pressures. Definitely recommend checking your tire pressures there and not here. Last track day, I checked it here, and then when I went to the track, I ran it without checking, and my first lap, I was on 10 PSI in the front. And I was wondering why the bike was fighting me when I would go in the lean, and I thought it was because I just low-sided and I was jittery, but I was not. It was the tire pressures. Once I got them set to the correct tire pressures, the second session, I was sending it, man. So definitely check your tire pressures at the track. So once you're done setting up, it's pretty simple. You go get your bike inspected at Tech, and like I said, there's gonna be a certain time for it. And then you go get registered, you go get your wristband or sticker for your bike or whatever, however they do it. Every organization is different, like I said. And then they'll do the riders meeting. Then you might have like 45 minutes before the first session starts. So every session has their own time. They usually run 20-minute laps, so 20, 20, 20. And then it'll be at that same 20-minute marker every time. So it'll be like 9:20, 9:40, or on the dot, right? And you just go line up at the starting line. There'll be somebody there waving you off. They're gonna check to make sure you're in the right class for your group. And if you're good to go, you just go have fun, man, and send it. That's it. There's a couple extra things, like you could take classes you know, new rider classes and stuff like that. But for me, I would recommend just making friends with a track day guy that's willing to teach you. For me, that's what I do with Marlon the Magician, Jazzy Jeff, and Fred, aka Dark. Also, big shout out to Q for coming out and hanging out with us, man. He actually wrecked his Tuono that day. He wrecked it in the first lap of the first session in the third turn, and he just low-sided because the tire they just gave out, man. And I'm gonna talk about Q3 pluses in a minute. I'm gonna talk about him in another video. He went home, got his race bike, and then he still sent it, man. That guy's a freaking beast. Hope you guys enjoyed this video of the track. It was me, Marlon Magician, Jazzy Jeff, Darth, aka Fred, cleaning your freaking room, and Mr. Q. So sorry you crashed, buddy, but it's cool. You got 2 bikes, and you had full coverage, so you're good, man. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you like the content, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Throw me a comment, hit that like button, hit that notification button, all right? It would help me so much, man. Also, if you guys just shared this video and my other videos, man, check out my other videos. I got some cool ones, I got some funny ones in there, man. And something I always say, man, you only get one life, man. Just keep it simple, stay humble, namaste. Peace.